So here's the deal. The UFC just signed this absolutely massive TV deal with Paramount. We're talking 7.7 billion over the next 7 years starting in 2026. So no more pay-per-views. Everything's going to be on Paramount Plus, which is crazy because that's the first time in forever you won't have to drop like 80 bucks to watch a card. And obviously there's a lot to be said because there's some concern for fighters. Of course, we know that, pay-per-view points in the contracts for fighters is something that they look for, is something that they do try to negotiate in their contracts. And now that that's not a thing, obviously, a lot of fighters have concerns about it. We're gonna go ahead and talk about that in today's video, but before we do, all I ask is for you guys to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the discussion of things. Now, obviously, the fighters are freaking out a little bit because champions make a ton of money off pay-per-view points, and now that that's gone, obviously, there's a cause for concern. Dana White was basically like, yeah, we're still figuring that part out, but there's one thing he's promising right away, and it's a pretty big thing. He's promising bigger bonuses. So instead of a 50 grand for performance or fight of the night, it's going to be, well, we don't know yet. It could be $100,000, 75,000, but it's definitely going to be higher. That alone could mean millions extra for fighters over time. Obviously, it's not just going to be, in one night that they're going to make like a significant amount of money, but obviously throughout, their entire career with having higher bonuses, obviously they can make significantly more money over time. Dana White is also hyping this up as a huge win for the roster because, of course, Paramount owns a bunch of networks. So fighters are going to get a ton more of exposure and promotion. And for anyone worried that the UFC might get lazy like myself, that was pretty much the main topic of my last video. Dana White said, hell no, we're going to go even harder. We got to prove ourselves every year. So yeah, giant TV deal, no more pay-per-view points, but more bonuses. And Dana swears that the UFC is about to level up big time in terms of quality. We have to keep Dana White on check with that. They've promised big things before, and a lot of times they just don't come through with their promises. So we're gonna go ahead and see whether or not Dana White's telling the truth on that. But yeah, I still don't see how offering bigger bonuses, compared to offering pay-per-view points for big fighters, is a good trade-off. But I mean, it might work out. Who's to say? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below about this. As always, it's a pleasure. Subscribe to the channel. Peace out and have a good one.